Hi, welcome to Aquatic Australia. I'm your host, Sharky Jones, and today we're diving on the northeast side of Rottnest, just off Geordie Bay. Our first dive site is Grouper Point, and then secondly we're going to go to a club site known as Jenny's Spot. It's nice and calm here today, and we're diving at Grouper Point. We drop in on top of some nice canyons and ledges. A dewfish passes us by, and then a ball-chin groper. Both these fish are popular with anglers, but disputed concerns about population of these and other demersal fish have led to a controversial 2-year bottom fishing ban in Perth. Two old wives pass by. These pretty fish look like freshwater angelfish from the Amazon. They mate for life and are always seen paired. Damien sees crayfish antennas sticking out from a hole, but cannot get to them and gives up. Carries on looking for a feed of western rock lobster, or crays as they are known locally. The site has lots of ledges and overhangs where crays like to live. Crayfishing is very popular here, but you need a license, and there are strict bag limits and catch sizes to preserve the population. We find another large cave or canyon system on the north side of the reef. A small school of skipjack trevally or skippies passes us by. These are not demersal fish and are not on the fishing ban. Damien sees a cray and enters a fisher trying to get it. Meanwhile, in a hole, I spot a crinoid or feather star. These normally only come out at night. I try to film, but it's a bit silty. Eventually he gets the cray, but it's buried, which means it's carrying eggs and can't be taken, so he puts it back. At the top of the reef are encrusting hard corals like this one. They are related to sea anemones and jellyfish, all part of the family Cnidarians. A beautiful western blue devilfish hides in the cave. They have such lovely vivid blue colours. This is the third nudibranch I've seen this dive, but I failed to get any great shots of them due to the waves. Nudibranchs are small, highly coloured sea slugs that live on the bottom. We both swim through a hole in the reef, taking care to avoid the colourful sponges. Soon after, on the east side, we find yet another large canyon with a large cave and a school of several fish species. Here we see a striking fish, one that I like a lot. It's called a moonlighter, with its black and white stripes. They're a member of the sweep family. As you can tell from the video and the movement of the kelp, there's quite a swell today. This swell is often amplified in and around caves. It's manageable, but it often makes video and macro work in WA quite tough. We are, after all, exposed to the southern Indian Ocean. In this cave, there's also a school of skipjack trevallies or skippy. We're all getting tossed around, but if we don't fight the swell and instead go with it when it takes us where we want to go, and only kick just hard enough to not go backwards, we can advance quite rapidly and without using too much energy or air. In short, don't fight the sea, you'll always lose. Use it instead. Shooting out of the top of the cave like a cork out of a champagne bottle, I pass a school of blackhead chromies, a type of damselfish. We return to the line after a long swim that took us almost all the way round the southern part of the reef, and then we complete our safety stops. It wasn't perfect conditions, but I'd like to spend more time on this site. It's pretty nice. This boat has my favourite dive ladder of any here in Perth. Open-faced ladder, and you can mount it with fins on, and then also tall, sturdy, removable handles that let you get a good grip. Our second dive is north of Grouper Point, but further out. It's a series of bommies set in a crescent around a sand patch in about 22 to 23 metres with kelp all around in between. The site is more suited to crayfishers. There are no large caves, but being deeper and a bit calmer, there are a lot of colourful sponge gardens and corals. Here we see a large basket sponge. Looking up close we can see many holes and the spongy appearance. Here's a grey finger sponge. Again you can see the pores, and behind it a large orange elephant ear sponge. I think it's called that, but it's hard to find much information. Sponges are fascinating things. They're actually colonies of animals belonging to a family called Porifera, Latin for paw bearers. There are many cell types in a colony, specialised for each purpose, but no organs or systems. They filter food from the water by pumping large quantities of water through them in their pores. If sponges look spongy and remind you of a kitchen and bath sponge, that's because they are, or at least they were. Before artificial plastic sponges, real sponges were harvested for millennia in places like the Mediterranean and the Caribbean by sponge divers, initially free diving but later using copper helmets and surface supplied air. Natural sponges are still harvested in some parts of the world and processed, but being expensive they are usually used more for personal hygiene and makeup rather than cleaning, which uses artificial sponges. I spot a small member of the grouper or sea perch family, which I later find out to be a black-banded sea perch. He's pretty chill, which is unusual, so I settle down to film and watch him for a bit. Sometimes just sitting and watching fish is like being inside of an aquarium.
It's one of my favourite things. A blue-lined leather jacket comes by and checks me out while I'm lying down, still fish watching. Then I spot a foxfish with what looks like a lobster's leg in its mouth. This is an interesting sponge. It looks like one of those spiral cut fried potatoes you get on a stick at fairgrounds. It's called a Western Staircase sponge. We spot another nice dewfish, spelt D-H-U. The name was changed to be less controversial, as the fish was named in part due to a supposed resemblance to hair sidelocks and the stripes of a prayer shawl. There is a sponge at the back, but what's waving at the front of the picture is actually a soft coral, another colony of small animals, but this time not porifera but cnidaria, as we mentioned earlier, colonies of small polyps related to jellyfish or anemones. A horseshoe leather jacket passes another bald-chinned groper. Yellow footballer sweeps pass by. And again we see a pair of old wife fish. Underneath the boat is another large elephant's ear sponge. On this dive I'm on nitrox. Despite being at 23 metres, I never had less than 78 minutes bottom time. Nitrox is brilliant in the 18 to 30 metre range. It's time to head back up and do our safety stops. I still have loads of air and deco time left, but we've been down most of our allotted time and we must surface so the second wave can get their dive in before we go home. That's all for today. Thanks for joining us. Please like, comment and subscribe. Definitely subscribe, it really helps the channel. And join us again on Aquatic Australia.